it's a very good question of the motivations, the behaviors, and the continuation or continuity of this American security state. And I happened to recently have a good long discussion with a talented political scientist named Aaron Good, who wrote his PhD dissertation and then published it on explaining what is the American deep state. Is it real? Is it a proper concept? Is it a conspiracy theory? What is it exactly? And he recommends a three-part structure of the state, that is the apparatus of power in the United States, that I find in my decades of work to be a useful construct. First, there is the visible state. He calls it the Madisonian state because James Madison wrote the Constitution. We have a president, we have a Congress, we have the Supreme Court, we have an election for the House of Representatives every 2 years, for the president every 4 years, and so forth. And those politicians exist and they vote the laws, they vote the budget, and so forth. Then there is what's sometimes called the permanent state, or sometimes called the deep state. He uses the term the security state. And the security state is long-term professionals, if you will, who run the security apparatus of the United States. What is the security apparatus? Well, it's $1 trillion a year business. That's the budget of the Pentagon, basically, and related military outlays. $1 trillion is not nothing. It's a pretty big operation. It supports, as I said, overseas military bases in 80 countries. It supports the Pentagon. It supports hundreds of billions of dollars, interestingly, in military contracts each year with the likes of Boeing or Lockheed Martin or what was Raytheon, now renamed, General Dynamics, Northrop Grumman. So the major military contractors, and of course the CIA and the intelligence community. And the CIA is distinctive in that it is a military or quasi-military unit of the United States, but it operates in secrecy by design, and it operates almost without any accountability at all, because what is supposed to be accountable is operations to intelligence committees in the Congress, but basically those committees are there to support the CIA rather than to oversee the CIA. So this is the second category, is this $1 trillion a year military machine. And to my mind, it's always ready for war. It likes war, wants war, wants to test new weapon systems, wants to show American might, wants to scare the wits out of little countries, wants to be present for regime changes where and when it's needed. Then there is a third component, which Aaron Good calls by a variety of names. One is the deep state, even though what he means by it is not the permanent bureaucracy. That's this security state. He means it's the bankers, it's Wall Street, it's the oil industry. It's those who ostensibly profit by America's reach around the world, with the security state making it safe for pipelines, for oil ownership, for regulatory control, for placement of military bases, and so on. And the other names that he uses as in juxtaposition to the underworld, which plays its role with the security state because organized crime and the CIA work hand in hand and have for decades. But he calls it
just a statement in the passing,
Yes. Well, but this is known. They've been involved in drug trafficking. They've used the mafia for assassinations. It's a bit of a mess. And he calls this third component the overworld. And in a way, it's Marx's idea. For who is all of this done? For whom? Cui bono? Who benefits from all of this? And that's our billionaires and our tech industry, which is both a source of power for the security state, but also is enriched by it in its own ways. You know this world very well. There are huge Pentagon contracts. There are huge tie-ins with the National Security Administration and so on. There's all of the things that Snowden revealed about the back doors to all our data. Thank you. And all the information. There's Mark Zuckerberg telling us recently, yes, the government and we worked together to make sure certain things wouldn't be on Facebook. Sorry about that. So there's a lot of tie-ins. It used to be big oil and Wall Street were the quintessential partners in this, much less so the tech world. But now tech is the dominant part of our economy. And so it also has its tie-ins because it's partly militarized and partly so consequential for our lives. But the point is that we should think about three levels of government: our politicians, our permanent security apparatus, which is very big, and our interested industry, which is aligned in contracts, power, regulation, secrecy, surveillance, and other areas. This is not textbook civics of seventh grade how a bill becomes a law. This is some ground reality that has a lot of unpleasantness to it, but I think helps to account for why we're in perpetual wars, why my whole lifetime has been Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Nicaragua, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Ukraine, Sudan, Somalia, you name it. We have a big war machine. We have a big regime change operation. We have a big secrecy security apparatus. We have a big surveillance apparatus. It's not what we signed up to with James Madison's Constitution.